Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rewind and Replay. I'm Matan,
I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Adriana.
and today we're going to be talking about superheroes. So we've got two segments today. First off, another best of, and then we're going to be discussing our favorite superhero video games and what makes them great. So in terms of the best of, we're doing best superhero gear.
Which is vague and can mean literally anything.
Yeah.
Once again, I would like to maintain that this doesn't mean strongest. This doesn't mean the most powerful. It is the best. Yeah.
Best or coolest?
Yeah.
We did
Best.
coolest.
I think.
Best?
I
I
think.
think best.
I think.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
cool is a big factor in best. And I don't want to say strength is entirely disregarded, but
Yeah.
not the prominent factor.
But when you say gear, utility is important.
That's also a very good point.
True.
It's not always about combat. It's
It's
gear.
not. Yeah.
So I'm gonna start us off. My first, we each have. I should mention this. We each picked four, and so we're gonna go through our lists and then slowly whittle them down until we pick one best superhero gear item. My first pick is a pretty easy one. It's the Green Lantern ring. So of the three of us, I'm basically the only one who gives any semblance of a shit about DC.
I give some shits about DC.
Yeah.
How many
it
shits
just-
do you think,
Like, out of 10, maybe like 4.
Adriana?
Yeah,
I'm
4.
I'm at like a solid 8.5. I think I like DC Comics better than Marvel Comics.
Yeah,
I
I've read a
don't
few
read
DC
comics.
comics, but I haven't gotten super into them.
Sure. The movies though, there's
Yeah,
really
that's the
no-
thing.
Yeah.
Right, that's the thing. I'm more into the movies, and come on. I mean, DC, I love some,
I get
but
that. I get
just
that.
Marvel just has more. They have the monopoly, man.
They really do.
They do. So my first item is the Green Lantern ring. So the Green Lantern ring, for those who don't know, there's a superhero of the same name. Actually, a bunch. There's like in comics, there's like 10 human Green Lanterns. They're basically space cops, and they have these rings that allow them to create sort of material objects out of their own willpower.
Hmm.
So if they think about it and they use their will, they can make it. And it's very, very cool. The stronger your will is, the stronger your creation. It's always green. And again, they're space cops, but they're selected by the rings themselves for like, who has the strongest will. And one thing I really like about this is that there have been a lot of different Green Lanterns in history. Most recently, they had a Muslim guy and a Hispanic woman who suffers from extreme PTSD and anxiety, which I think is sort of a cool way to bring them in and comment on their character. A lot of them are also soldiers. A couple of them have been soldiers, but my favorite Green Lantern, it was an artist. And so like he is willful, but I like that, it takes a lot of creativity to make things with this device. Like the soldiers, like they make big gun or airplane go fast. And like, that's cool, but like, I love the artist who's making interesting things with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds useful in a lot of situations,
For sure.
which could make it the best. It is maybe certainly the most versatile.
Yes, combat
Not
and
how
otherwise.
it
the
fares
best
up.
yet. Well,
Sorry,
we'll
say-
get
No,
there.
but
Say that
the
again.
most
Caitlin.
versatile for sure, I think. out
Oh,
of all
I
of them.
said I'm not convinced it's the best yet, but
We'll
see.
figure it
We'll
out.
see. It's our
Caitlin-
first choice.
For sure.
It's
Caitlin, you
a
got the next
strong
one.
contender.
It is.
Thank you.
My first choice is, of course, my favorite superhero, Spider-Man. His web slingers and just suit in general. I mean, I feel like most of you know about Spider-Man. I don't have to explain too much about his suit, but his web shooters take like his webs and he can shoot them. He can swing from them. He can like capture people with them. He can use them like as weapons. Can use them to like grapple people. As far as his suit, I'm thinking of mainly the one from like Infinity War where he has like the arms that like
That's Iron Spider.
yeah, Iron Spider
Yeah.
one. Just because that's probably like the most well known right now. He has like the arms that can come out of it, the retractable arms. We see him use that a lot. We see him have like the parachute in it, the heat thermal. He has all these different like really awesome things within it that are super useful, super helpful to him, keep him alive in many situations.
I'd like to raise one issue. I think that you have to pick web shooters or Iron Spider. I think they're different.
But you have web shooters in any of the suits.
That's true.
Did Matan die?
No, sorry.
You died.
Sorry, I lost you for a sec. I think you said that you have web shooters in all the suits.
Yeah.
That is true, but
Dude, it has web shooters in it.
I get that. I get that, but I think they're their own device. Like he uses them outside of suits. But okay, you know what?
Yeah.
You make a point though. There is no spider suit without the web shooters, so I think you can safely pick a suit knowing that web shooters included.
Yeah.
All right.
This also, I guess, is a question for Caitlin because she knows like all the lore. But before the new Spider-Man, weren't the they're like biological, right? Like the web shooters, once he gets infected, is that not how it works?
Okay, well, if you're going with the Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, yes. But
yes,
I believe in the comics, no.
And
that's where
Got
the
it.
Tobey Maguire one gets kind of weird because it like slings out of his arm, which is weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think in any other version of Spider-Man that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
But either way,
in the comments, tell me if I'm wrong. But I don't believe that's how it works in the other.
I mean, either way, then the web shooters are part of the suit and you can't really take it out, or the web shooters are just part of him and you can't take it out.
Good point. All right, Adriana, you're up next.
You would say I am up next, but Caitlin, you would say this is like your number one for yours because you love Spider-Man?
I mean, yes, because I love Spider-Man, but I don't know. I have some other good contenders in here.
Yeah.
I don't want to label them yet. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to be convinced. I'll hear what you guys have to say about them.
All right. Well, also dear to my heart, my son, my husband, Thor, and I want to put Mjolnir and Stormbreaker together. But you know what? I can pick just Stormbreaker because it's like Mjolnir, but 1.5.
Interesting.
This was made to defeat Thanos. Like, this is a legendary weapon that no one could make until Thor just pulled bullshit and like held a star together. Like, this is insane.
Peter Dinklage was like, no, we can't do that.
Like, you can't do it. I mean, he did it. Yeah. I mean, like, and this, like, it shouldn't exist, right? And that's kind of why I like Mjolnir too, because it's like basic, it's vanilla level.
And like Groot's part of it.
But
so that's
Stormbreaker, but Stormbreaker can also summon the Bifrost, you guys, and that's like having a weapon within a weapon. And so I don't, at least in terms of strength, maybe not utility because it's like an axe, but I mean, this thing killed the Destroyer from the first Thor movie, even though the first Thor movie was not great, but I'm in love with it. Loki, Ultron, Hela, which they fucked up her lore entirely, but still, Thanos, my dudes.
I have a question about the Stormbreaker. Does it have the same rule about you can only pick it up if you're worthy?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I love the part
not that I've seen.
Endgame spoilers. Love the part when, of course, one of my favorite moments ever when I was in a theater was when Cap picks up Mjolnir.
Yeah.
But I also love then when he and Thor switch, and then he has the Stormbreaker. Very cool. Endgame is great.
And that is part of why I want to pair them together, because they are, I think at least, they're supposed to be used as the set, like when you dual wield swords.
That was pretty tight.
I think like that fight was the most effective they have ever been, really. Or when Thor is just using both of them like the dope ass bitch he is. Because they're less powerful separated. They just are.
You know, I would argue that we should take them alone, but I don't think I'm going to win that argument, so we'll take them together.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it.
I think
make a strong point that they work better together.
I'm up next. I've got another DC one. I think a fan favorite, Batman's utility belt. This shit, this shit breaks reality. He fits so much in that utility belt. He has dozens and dozens of batarangs, all sorts of all sorts of remote controls, SOS buttons, um, extraordinarily situational items like the famous Batman shark repellent,
Right.
featured in the show from the 60s. And has made a comeback. I think it's such a meme now that like DC knows about it and they'll put it in stuff. It was recently in the Harley Quinn TV show. Batman is a genius. There's so much in there that is useful. I know he keeps kryptonite in there. Like there's the utility belt itself is incredibly powerful.
He has basically made a bag of holding.
Basically, it's a bag of holding.
Pretty cool.
And on top of that, it completes his outfit. Like I think Batman's
oh my god, Matas.
I think Batman's costume would not look good without the belt in the middle.
I agree with you. It's just really amusing that like fashion is
I know. Hey, I mean fashion's important. That's why Spider-Man's suit is like high up there for me.
Right.
Great
and
point.
that is part of being a superhero is the recognizability, is being a hero. Like you, as much as Spider-Man wants to be your local neighborhood friendly Spider-Man, like then you're not a superhero anymore unless you're like a little bit famous, really. And like Thor without either of his weapons is just like a dude, like a really buff dude.
Yeah, he has a cape, that red cape.
Yeah, a really buff dude that can fly. I'm sorry. Yes.
And he has those like 6 circle things in I think in general Thor's modern design is a little weak. I think his weapons are cool. But I think that a look is important. I think in terms of iconography, in universe and out of universe, that's important.
I agree. All right, so my next one is the Infinity Gauntlet. This thing, what can this thing do? I mean, if you don't know what this thing is, it has the 5 Infinity Stones on it. It's a gauntlet that Thanos uses to wipe out half the universe.
Yeah. Isn't it 6 stones?
Sorry, yes, 6. I'm sorry.
I want
the one in the middle.
Yes, it's 6 stones. Yes, and he uses it to basically do anything. He can reverse time, he can play with reality, he can wipe out half the universe. Mm-hmm. He can do anything. And it looks fashionable too, you know?
It's
cool.
Gauntlet on your hand.
It shapes to your hand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again, in-game spoilers, but no one else can stop Thanos. And then Iron Man, he can't even stop him like with his own stuff. He has to use the Infinity Gauntlet to stop him.
Good point. I'd like to say I think we should make sure
it's the power of friendship.
I think we should make the distinction for sure that we're talking MCU Infinity Gauntlet, not comics. I think the MCU one's cooler. The comics one is cloth, and I think that's weird.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. There's like this famous shot of Spider-Man putting it on, and it's like loose, and I think that's weird. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird. No, thank you.
But it's power, and I also like that it's kind of all powerful in that it can basically do anything, but it doesn't have unlimited power. Like it takes a toll on its user.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool.
And in the face of the power of friendship and all these weapons combined.
Mm-hmm. Right. And my axe. Good point. Next up, you, Adriana.
Yeah, so my next one is Black Panther's vibranium suit. Just because of the potential it has as a piece of gear. I mean, his sister is incredibly smart. I'm positive modifications are going to be made to it. We haven't seen the last of Black Panther, and I'm excited for what's going to come next to his suit. But also, I mean, it takes in raw energy. There is, he can do anything, you guys. We just haven't seen enough of him. And I think it has the potential, just like the way the stones work. They're fueled by energy. And once, they're humans. They're limited. Once they learn how to use it, man, who knows what he can do.
I agree.
Style-wise, this is one of the coolest ones. His suit.
For sure.
So cool.
And I'm also gonna, I think a very, very cool looking suit. I'm also going to say I think that the one at the end of Black Panther is better than the one at the beginning of Black Panther.
I agree.
I like the nose better, and I like the colors. I'm also I think,
no, the colors are beautiful.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
I think that was a great pick. He's an iconic superhero with an iconic look. All right, my next one. I've got thrown one Marvel one in here just because I'm a big fan. Cerebro. So Cerebro, I am not super familiar with X-Men comics. I've read some from the 80s, and I most recently read House of X and Powers of X by John Hickman. Fantastic comics. I would highly recommend them. But Cerebro wasn't featured prominently in that. Cerebro basically amplifies a telepath's powers dramatically. So in the X-Men movies, like in Days of Futures Past and whatnot, Charles Xavier can use it, one, to communicate with anyone in the entire world, and two, and also read the mind of anybody in the entire world, and two, to find all the mutants in the world, right? Because basically it allows him the scale to basically reach the world. And so that's, I think, such an interesting tool. I mean, it can be used offensively, but in terms of like recruitment and saving mutants and like untraceable communication, I think it was just a really cool tool. It's like a supercomputer for mutants.
Yeah, the same.
Yeah. It is, and I really like X-Men. My only issue, though, is that I don't know if it's superhero gear. Like, if it helps him be a super.
Well, it helps him.
It
helps him reach supers. He helps him reach people who would become superheroes.
It helps him make superheroes, but that isn't necessarily the gear of a superhero.
I do think it helps amplify his powers, which is what gear does to a point.
I'm
but
sorry.
It's also maybe not like its main purpose. I don't know.
But I have a distinct memory. I don't remember which X-Men movie this is. I haven't seen them all. There's a movie in which somebody breaks into the Xavier Institute, and I think he uses it in the battle then. I remember people like trying to break into the room where Cerebro is, but I don't remember specifically because those movies all kind of blend together.
Yes.
Shout out though to Logan, one of the best, arguably, superhero movies of all time. Incredible film. It's on HBO.
Can I make a confession? I've seen all the X-Men movies, but I have not seen Logan.
Caitlin, what?
Listen. I watched Deadpool 2, and I saw, obviously there's that spoiler.
Same, Caitlin.
And I can't watch it now.
You guys are both film majors. Logan is legitimately one of the best superhero movies ever made.
I want to.
No, I've been wanting to watch it.
It's not even a superhero movie, really. It's more of a Western. It's like a neo-Western. Yeah. So good.
I kept putting it off, and then Deadpool 2 came out, and then Deadpool 2 spoils it.
It would be better if you didn't know. The ending, literally the last shot of Logan, like, keeps me up at night. That movie is so good.
Okay, maybe I'll watch it sometime soon.
Honestly, as film majors, absolutely. Really, really, really good film. And again, it's like, it is a superhero. I think a lot of people, this is slightly a tangent. I think a lot of people, particularly pretentious filmmakers and film students, they say stuff like, when they like a superhero movie, they're like, well, it's not even really a superhero movie. Like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Yeah, it is. Wolverine's a superhero. Like, Logan's a superhero. It's not. It is a superhero movie. But it is also a neo-Western. It is also like a family drama. I think something being a superhero movie is not a statement on quality.
I feel that. Film majors can be pretentious.
Yes.
You know what I'm just thinking of that we don't have anywhere in any of our lists? Anything from The Incredibles, which is a shame.
Oh, God,
yeah.
Just I was trying to think of superheroes that weren't like mainstream, like Marvel, DC, and I didn't. I know
there's Invincible, but I've only read a little bit of Invincible, and I don't know it.
Sorry, that crash was me dropping my phone.
Sorry, Adriana, that's a really good point. That's such a shame because that.
No, there is.
The Incredibles are amazing, you guys. Yeah.
I'm
Yikes.
disappointed in all of us for not thinking
Me
of
too.
that.
God. Yeah, man. Wow, that one really hurts. Okay.
Rip. Can I pick Jack Jack as like my gear?
An Oscar gear.
Just carry him around.
I would think.
Yeah, with a little stroller.
I want to give a shout out. I want to think of an Incredibles one, and I think the coolest Incredibles gadget to me is the one that puts them in their clothes. Is the one where I think that the one that suits Mr. Incredible up is a really cool.
Oh yeah.
And you know what the other one is? No, you know what? This one takes the cake. Is in Incredibles 2, Elastigirl's bike, where it splits.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
for sure.
That one is really, really
that
cool.
is so cool.
You know what? Should we? I don't know. Should we do a live change? Should we drop one and replace it with Mrs.
No.
We
I
can
don't
just add
think
it in as
so.
like a special mention like we did last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out
Because I also don't think it's gonna win. Is the
No, I don't
unfortunate
think
thing.
so.
Good point. But Elastigirl's bike was honestly the peak of Incredibles 2 for me.
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
It might win the coolest because it's fucking dope.
Yeah,
But
I can get with that.
but not the best.
I
Yeah.
agree. All right, so I will move on to my third one. I have Iron Man suit. This thing is so cool. I mean, again, very popular. Everyone knows this. Iron Man can fly. He can like shoot like power thing. Why am I blanking on words?
Okay.
But yeah, no, he can like do so many things with this. He can fight in it. He can repair things. It can keep him alive. Like if he's falling. He has like Friday in there talking to him. Yeah, it's really cool and definitely stylish, which I think is the points.
Very stylish. I think particularly like the old suits are very much like objects of their time. Like I think the Iron Man suit from 2008 looks like an Iron Man suit from 2008, but that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
And it's always like updated with the times too, which I think makes it
Totally.
like
I was gonna say though, isn't Spider-Man suit kind of like the same thing now?
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean Tony Stark like helps.
Because he has stuff Friday, right? I mean, or whatever the new AI is.
But Spider-Man can't fly, and Tony can't shoot webs.
Yeah, that's true. I think I really like the role that Tony Stark took in the MCU for Spider-Man. I like that his like mentor father figure. But that does make them a little bit more kind of, I don't know, homogenous isn't the right word, but it does sort of like.
I see what you mean though.
It's a little Iron Man-y.
Yeah. Especially like it's the iron suit for Spider-Man.
That's also, it's also maybe a benefit though in their points that two different superheroes have such similar gear. It just means it's really good.
Good point.
True. And I think it's also a bonus for Spider-Man because he is super smart and makes a ton of his own stuff too, along with what Tony has provided him.
Great point.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, my next one is the Bifrost itself. In canon, in the Thor movies, it could destroy an entire fucking planet. Like just gone. Just Earth could be gone. I think that's amazing. Obviously, also, like transportation, that is, you can escape in the blink of an eye. That is so useful.
Sorry, real quick. The Bifrost, is that the thing that Heimdall has, or that?
No. So that, I mean, yes.
What's it? The blank?
No. Yeah, you're thinking of Heimdall. Yeah. No, you're thinking of the right guy.
Really?
So the sword isn't the Bifrost. The Bifrost is like the energy, like the bridge itself.
Yeah, it's like the force. Yeah. Okay.
It's like the force. So he just uses the sword to activate it. But Thor calls the Bifrost with Stormbreaker.
For sure. And I think Kratos also uses the Bifrost.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's right. Thanks for the clarification. Yeah. Bifrost is sick.
It is something anyone can use. It's very versatile.
My downside for it, which also goes for Cerebro, is it's stationary. You can only use it at that one spot, which I guess you could argue with the Bifrost, you can use it to call you from anywhere and then you're there and then you can use it, which is very useful. But it's still you have to get there to use it.
But doesn't Stormbreaker harness the Bifrost?
Yep.
Okay.
So is that a point?
Legendary.
Or a point for Bifrost?
The Bifrost is very cool, though. I do.
It is. It's
I mean,
really
it's maybe a point for both,
Yeah.
because we could see future uses using the Bifrost in different ways.
Yeah, good pick. My final pick, another one going back to DC, is I think one of the most iconic items in DC, which is Wonder Woman's Lasso of Truth. So Lasso of Truth is a glowy piece of rope, but man, can that thing fuck people up? It's an incredible weapon. She uses it really well, and on top of that, it has the magical component of being able to I don't know, coerce isn't the right word. Sort of push people to divulge the truth. They can't lie. Most people cannot lie if they're touching the Lasso of Truth. And not only is it a lie detector, like it pushes them to say the truth. So you can't just stay silent usually. Some people can. Some people are like super strong and shit, but most people you can't resist that. And I'd like to give a quick mention to a current comic series, DC's Death Metal, in which Wonder Woman has a chainsaw for which the cord is the Lasso of Truth. And I think that's so
That's cool.
I think that's like
That
ridiculous
cool.
and awesome.
This one also gets an extra point just because it's my favorite ride at Six Flags.
All right. I'll take what I can get.
It also gets an extra point for being Indiana Jones, but better.
Good point. I think it is effectively the same thing, but with more utility.
Yeah.
All right, Caitlin. Caitlin, go. You're up.
Oh, okay, sorry, my computer, my Wi-Fi went out for a second.
We're having some issues today. It's all good.
Yeah, it's great. Okay.
It's a day.
My last one is Yondu's arrows from Guardians of the Galaxy. These things are so cool. He can like control them with his mind and like have them just go wherever he wants them to, and he can like control multiple at a time, right?
Specifically with his whistles.
Yeah, that's what it is, the whistle. Sorry, it's been a while since I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, and it's really cool. He can use them to do so many different things. Very powerful, very like threatening.
Yeah.
For me, this is a front runner. I think Yondu's arrows, they're sick. I think it's mostly one. I think he has more later. But like when he's whistling and he like changes his pitch and it guides it, he like takes out like dozens of people basically at once. So cool.
I would like to point out that Mjolnir can do the same exact thing. Combat-wise, not utility-wise. Combat-wise, it's like a boomerang.
Mjolnir but it's a blunt weapon. I mean physically and sort of ideologically. Like he throws it and it comes back. Maybe he throws it in a circle. But like Yondu, this is surgical. Like it's like in all different directions. Precise. It's light, so it doesn't have a lot of momentum. It can change on a dime. And I think that sets it apart. But I see your point.
I think it's very cool.
And we got the last one. Adriana?
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I might get disqualified for this one. I'm not sure. Ultron or Vision is the best superhero gear. Now I'm gonna say gear. I know they're sentient. I know they're people. I know, but they weren't made that way. That's not what they were made to be. They were made as a weapon by Tony Stark.
I think you have to pick one. I think you have to pick Ultron or Vision.
Vision, I guess. I want to pick Vision. Yeah, but also he has the stone, so I actually maybe Ultron.
Interesting. I was gonna. Okay. All right.
Well, because that would be like picking the Infinity Gauntlet. You know what I mean?
In some ways.
Yeah.
I think Vision's fair game if you want it, but
I think so.
I think because it is Vision, like it does a lot of shit that is not like it has the Mind Stone specifically, but also like he is also using it. I think
it's not like you're picking Doctor Strange using like the Time Stone. You're picking like Vision.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll go with Vision. I mean, I love the guy, but like he's as like if you think about him as like a sidekick kind of, and think about a gear that way, really useful.
Maybe I should have picked Robin.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Vision specifically because of Tom King, my favorite comic author. I'm gonna get some hate for that in the comments. Wrote a fantastic Vision series, 12 issues, highly recommend. But I think the MCU does him kind of dirty. He's boring. Vision is boring.
I see that a little bit, but I still like Vision.
I mean, his powers are cool. I love phasing through stuff. Fan of that. But like, and I like his romance with Scarlet Witch. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's my favorite part about
But like, what are his personality traits? He's like stoic and British. Like, what else?
I mean, that's kind of why my argument works.
Fair point. Fair point. He's kind of an object. Yeah.
Like,
that's a good.
Yikes, but
that's very true. Okay, so I think so we've covered all of them, and I think we, more so than last time, we went into greater depth on each of them. So I think we can make some quick cuts. I think there are some we can just drop. I'm gonna start with mine. I think that we can drop Cerebro. I don't think that's gonna win, so I think we can get rid of Cerebro. Yeah. Does anybody else have any they feel like we can just drop right now?
Yeah, I'm happy to drop the vibranium suit.
Yeah.
As cool as it is.
Good pick. I think great pick, but I think probably it's time for it to go.
Yeah.
I'm cool dropping Iron Man suit.
Iron Man? I don't know if I am. Iron Man suit's awesome.
I know.
I am. Cool. I mean, Spider-Man doesn't need to fly. He has his web shooters. It's kind of like Iron Man.
So you're saying you think that Spider-Man's going to take it over Iron Man, so we can just drop Iron Man now?
Yeah, that's okay. And I also think that Tony Stark had to use the Infinity Gauntlet to destroy Thanos, so that makes the Infinity Gauntlet just a little bit cooler.
Okay.
I mean, maybe we need to talk about this right now, but like, the Infinity Gauntlet is.
I'm sorry. The Infinity Gauntlet is what?
Gonna win.
No.
It's gonna win.
No, it's not. Hard disagree. Infinity Gauntlet is OP. It's like the most powerful. It's not the best.
I don't know.
Well, I think it's the best. And no, but see, the thing is, we have to vote right now. I think Caitlin and I would go for the Infinity Gauntlet. It is the best.
No way.
Like aiding force to any superhero.
Okay, let's cut some more, and then we'll get there. I think we can cut Bifrost as well.
No. But I bring it up so that we can cut it.
Oh, really?
Because I think it's too OP.
Interesting.
Because if you think about it, it is 6 stones. It, like, individually, the stones they have been used as gear for different superheroes. So it's a little bit cheating to like collect 6 pieces of gear.
But it still happened. It still happened, and people still wielded it. And it does have a downside. Sorry, Matan, go ahead.
I hear what Adriana's saying. I think because it's so powerful, it's less interesting.
That's true. I will go with that. Like, it's just that the end all, like, I feel like they could use more interesting things. I agree with that.
I think it's not that interesting in terms of like power, and I also think it's not that interesting in terms of design. I think the design is good in the MCU, but at the end of the day, it's a glove with glowing rocks in it, you know?
Yeah, but it's like you can do anything with the glove with glowing rocks. I mean, and I'm not aiming for like we should discount it right now. I'm aiming like a categorical let's cut. Like this is rule breaking.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I want a technicality.
Okay, I'll say it. I think
this is 6 stones.
Infinity Gauntlet is disqualified on a technicality. Yes. All right.
Fine, I'll take it.
All right. Yeah. Are there any?
I'm the Bifrost. I think you brought it up.
Let's cut the Bifrost.
Yeah, let's cut it. Also, Matan, I'm so sorry, but I was taking notes this entire time, and all my notes applied to yours.
All your
Because,
notes,
okay,
all your issues apply to
all my
mine.
issues applied to yours. Listen, Lasso of Truth is great. No notes on Lasso of Truth. Green Lantern. This is only as powerful as the will of the user.
That's cool.
Yes, that's really cool. But functioning wise, if someone doesn't have a powerful will, it's not going to help them.
But that's true for the most part, but you're probably not going to get one if you don't have strong will. Like that's like basically it's going to, okay, here, basically the ring finds the people, the ring finds the user. On top of that, if people who aren't strong use them, this is a reference to Scott Snyder's Last Night on Earth, kind of like a post-apocalyptic Batman thing. Basically, the thing that controls all the rings dies, and so all the rings fall to Earth, and people pick them up and put them on, and basically their will isn't strong enough to control it. So basically, the people are just getting carried around by these like giant green babies that are like manifestations of their mind. I think that's sick.
Okay, that is kind of cool. We can leave it for now.
We can talk about it later. I wanted to get further.
Yeah. Batman's utility belt. The belt itself does nothing. It's the things within the belt that are cool.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Maybe I should.
Belt is a really good bag.
It's a very good bag, but
I'd like
if he is in a battle with just the belt.
That's a good point. I mean, all right. I'd like to make the point. Maybe I should have stuck my original thing that I wrote down here. My very first thing I wrote down was Batman shark repellent. Maybe I should have stuck with that, but I didn't. So let's cut.
Yeah, let's delete it.
We can cut the utility belt. I hear what you're saying.
Cool.
So we each have two now. Right now, I have Green Lantern ring and Lasso of Truth. Caitlin?
Yeah, I have Spider-Man suit and Yondu's arrows.
And I have Thor's hammers and Vision.
I want to cut Vision on a technicality.
I think I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think he is a tool in more ways than one. But Vision's, I think, like, I don't want to say OP, but his powers are kind of we kind of play fast and loose with his powers. Like, he can walk through walls. Also, he can shoot beams. Also, like, he can fly. Also, he can do this shit, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think that works for comics, but I don't know if I would say it's the best gear.
No, I agree.
Okay.
For sure.
I think if we're gonna do Green Lantern ring or Lasso of Truth, I love the Green Lantern ring. I think Lasso of Truth is better gear.
Really?
Here's the thing about Green Lantern. I love the creativity and I love the will, but I think Lasso of Truth is just so iconic. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why it's a B in my bonnet.
Interesting. I would pick the Green Lantern ring.
Okay. Do you want to have a conversation? I mean, I think, like, if I were talking about what I would rather have, like, easily Green Lantern ring.
Yeah. I think any superhero would agree with you. That's
true.
That is the more useful piece of gear to pick up. If you were in a weapon shop or whatever.
You know what? That's a good point.
That is a good point.
I think I'd rather have it. Yeah, I think that is kind of at the core of this.
Yeah.
Right. So does that mean if we're going through each person's, does that mean Lasso of Truth has to go, or are there other ones you would rather cut first?
I mean, I like the Lasso of Truth. I fucking love Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's super useful gear.
Yeah,
not the best, certainly.
But it's good for, like, you can, you know, use it as like a slingshot, or to, like, grapple, or to, you know.
Yeah, but you can use any old rope for that.
And you can make people tell the truth. That's cool.
You can just punch them until they stop lying. I mean,
there's also, like, drugs for that too.
All right. I still like Lasso of Truth, but if we need to cut it, we'll cut it.
I mean, we all like it.
Sure. There's a cool thing.
Yeah, it got 4th place.
True. A good point. I think Lasso of Truth can get 4th. I think that's okay. I'd like to point out there's a cool version of the Lasso of Truth from Earth 3, where, like, all the good guys are bad guys. It's called the Lasso of Submission, where it's made of barbed wire, and it, like, gets people, and it basically makes them do what you want. It's not like mind control quite, but it, like, breaks them.
I want that. You should have put that.
that would have won first place.
I think
Yeah.
evil Lois Lane has it, and she's
Oh,
super,
that's cool.
yeah.
Fuck
think-
yes.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm
Maybe we'll do our next thing on that sometime.
wrong. Yeah.
Like
okay.
evil weapons, evil gear.
It would be
Ooh,
cool.
yeah.
Best evil versions of characters. That would be cool.
That would be so cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I would pick
Let us know in the comments what you want to see.
For sure. I would pick Negachin from Fairly Odd Parents. Yep, that'd be a great one. But okay, but please,
Amazing.
Caleb.
All right, I'm down to cut Yondu's arrows.
Ooh, that hurts.
Ooh.
Oh, but it's against Spider-Man's suit. It's a really.
I know,
tough one.
but I think Spider-Man too. Like if I'm there in the weapon shop and there's Yondu's arrow and Spider-Man's web shoot or Spider-Man's suit, I'm going with Spider-Man's
I
suit.
Yeah.
see you, but
Yeah.
But man, is that arrow cool? All right, we can drop it.
I know they are cool.
I'm also gonna reduce my pick to just Stormbreaker.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
So the final three we've got are Green Lantern ring, Spider-Man's suit, and Stormbreaker. I think that Stormbreaker is the weakest.
Yeah.
I'm willing to fight you on it. It is the one that is the least versatile. I will agree with that.
Right. It's very cool. It's very,
It is.
very cool. I like having the sharp on one end and the blunt on the other.
Yeah.
But I just think Green Lantern ring is very cool, and and it's also very strong. And I also think Spider-Man's suits not only are iconic, but just like also have a lot of adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I don't know that we've considered though is durability.
Durability.
In any piece of gear, you want it to last. We've seen Iron Man suits get destroyed how many times?
Good point.
Like if I were a superhero, like, well, I meant Iron Man, but like both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see what you
Spider-Man
I
too.
mean, yeah, I think we've
Yeah.
seen Iron Man more than.
We've seen Spider-Man suits get
Yeah.
ruined a few times.
Tattered, far from
Yeah.
home.
And I will say Spider-Man is able to fix them, but he also, that's, again, user, not the suit itself.
Yeah, and also, can you fix
Okay.
them before you die?
Has
Good
Spider-Man
point.
died yet?
Good. He could. I'd also like to say that's also a mark against the Green Lantern ring, just because, not because it breaks very much, but because you need to charge it. Like it lasts like a month, but like you need to charge that ring.
Yeah.
And that's a drawback.
And like Caitlin said earlier, it depends on the will of the user.
Yeah, again, it's
Like you will run out, even if you have the strongest will ever, like you will run out.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not that hard to recharge. Like you have a literal lantern at home, and you just kind of like put it in there for a little bit. But if you're on the, if you're a lantern on the go, if you're, I see that. Stormbreaker is very durable. Stormbreaker is not going to break.
No.
But it is, I just think limited by the fact that one, it is only a weapon, and two, like as you said, like Mjolnir rivals how cool it is. Like I don't think Stormbreaker, like, I don't know. I think there are weapons as cool as Stormbreaker.
It's also just a weapon. Like the ring and the suit do so much more than just be a weapon.
Can we cut it, Adriana?
I think I'm outvoted.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
admired you taking that in stride. So now it's Spider-Man's suit and the Green Lantern ring. I think this is a real tough one.
It really is.
Spider-Man's suit is, if we're talking Iron Spider, it is sleek. You got the cool arm thing. You got an AI in your head. You got your web shooters. You can stick to stuff. Like that is very cool. Green Lantern ring lets you fly. You can make a shield around you so you can breathe in space. And you can basically make whatever you can dream up. And that is very cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the most familiar with DC and Green Lantern. In theory, could someone with the ring like replicate web shooters?
Yes, I think the issue. So this is an area that's a little murky. Comic books have that stuff where you shouldn't look too closely. One of the issues is that whether or not the entire thing has to be connected. So you could make a sort of elastic thing that you could swing on for sure. Could you shoot away a bit of web? Maybe. Not super, like people make guns, but I'm not sure if the trail is attaching them. I don't really know.
Yeah, I think it depends what the limitations are for the Green Lantern ring. Like, can I make like a wristband that has inside a never-ending spool of thread that I regenerate with the ring?
Yes.
That I can shoot out?
Yes, you can. If it's you could do that.
Like, does it just depend on how much I think about it?
Yes.
Yes.
Never ending. Yes, like as long as you can conceive of it too. It's not like you could like just make it. Oh, I make a black hole with the ring. Like it has to be something that you can understand and conceive of.
Its function. Yeah. You have to be smart.
Right. Yeah. You have to be smart, creative, and willful. And I think that's really cool. You're right that it won't do a lot in the hands of somebody who's doesn't have a strong will. But like I think that the user that this ring demands is interesting.
I think maybe the question here is, Caitlin, would you rather see Spider-Man with his suit, with a suit, or Spider-Man with a Green Lantern ring?
Good point. That's interesting.
That is such a good question.
And I know the suit is like what makes him Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But in theory, he could achieve similar with the ring.
But the suit isn't what makes him Spider-Man. What makes him Spider-Man is the fact that he has these powers and he can climb and all that.
That's a good clap. Well,
yeah.
Yes, bitch.
He's a hero inside.
Yeah. It's inside. And that's what the ring values. Mm-hmm. So is that maybe a better option?
Yeah, and I was gonna get into that too. Like the ring can go to whoever has the willpower. Spider-Man's suit only works for Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it is built around his powers, so I would agree. I would say that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So is it the ring?
But it enhances his powers.
All right. I want to say this was a really tough one. I think the winner is the ring. I did not.
We're deciding on the ring. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad. I think that the last three were great. I think
so too. That was really hard between the last three. Yeah. I didn't think it was going to be the ring. Like I said, I had notes against the ring. I was not for the ring.
So that's why I almost shat myself when you wanted to cut it in favor of Lasso of Truth. I was like, absolutely not. Like, this is my pick.
I was wrong. You were right. I'd also like now.
Me and Matan both tried to cut it earlier on.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, you convinced me. I think it's definitely the right pick. I'd also now that we've picked it, I'd like to bring up some of the issues with the ring. One of them is in old versions, the very first Green Lantern ring that's like not really a real Green Lantern ring. I don't want to get into it. Couldn't touch wood, and then later on, it could. Green Lanterns were weak against the color yellow. Both very stupid.
Yikes.
So both aren't around anymore for the most part. But I think those are both very good. And on top of that, there are other rings. They have rings for all the spectrums of emotion. So there's basically 7 rings, and then kind of 2 more, and then also white and black.
Yikes.
So there's a lot of different kinds of rings. But I think the Green Lanterns is like quintessential and kind of the coolest. All right. Yeah. So that about does it for that.
Sorry, I was just gonna say real quick.
Go for it.
I'm honestly surprised we went with something DC. We had way more Marvel options.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, we cut some good shit on a technicality, so like.
Yeah.
Also a good point. All right, so this is the next The next segment, I wish we took a long time on this one, but that's okay. We wanted to talk about our favorite superhero games. And there are a lot. Superheroes fit well into an interactive medium. Katie, do you want to start us off with the first one?
Heck yeah. This is Marvel's Spider-Man for the PS4. This game is so much fun. It has incredible movement with the web slinging and like swinging on webs. So much fun. Like I would just go around and like you can start doing tricks on the webs and everything. And like it runs so smoothly. I would just swing around the city for like hours in that game. And it's such like a fun mode of transportation. Like there is a fast travel in that game, but I never used it because I'd rather be swinging around.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw you put in the notes here, the story isn't incredible. I'd agree with that. It's not the best story around, but it's still super enjoyable, super fun to play through. I loved having all the enemies in it. Incredible.
And I'd like to, yes, incredible game. I'd like to say I took that note. The story isn't incredible, but the story is solid. The story
it is very good.
Good. It's emotional. It's got great characters. Like it doesn't break the mold, but I enjoyed it.
I love this version of MJ and like how you get to play as her. So good.
Totally. Adriana, you watched this. You didn't play it. Is that right?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't even watch it?
I didn't even watch it.
One of the best games of.
I haven't. Yeah, I mean, superheroes are not my thing, really. Superheroes are not really my thing.
But this game in particular, I know you don't have a PS4 accessible, but it is honestly one of my favorite PS4 games. It's one of the only games I've ever platinumed. I platinumed this game. I was so ready to dive back in. I was talking to my brother about this the other day about open world games, and I think that movement is critical. You touched on this, Caitlin. I think like no matter where I'm going, or what I'm doing, I am having a good time moving around. And I think I love Red Dead Redemption 2. That was one of my complaints about the game, is I think the movement in that game feels terrible. And so I really loved just like, even if I was going to do the same little side quest event that I'd done 1,000 times, I was so happy to do it because swinging through the city, running on the walls, doing backflips feels fantastic.
It's so much fun. I will say one downside is it's very complex in the controls. And like it was fine when I learned to play it, and like it does a great job of like tutorial and teaching you. But then if you stop playing it for a while and try to come back, that's extremely hard.
I disagree. I think I could pick up the controller right now and I would fall right back in. Have you tried it? I have.
Have you tried that?
After a couple months, I have. I haven't done it in a couple.
Okay, because I haven't played it in probably like a year. When did it come out? It came out last 2018. Okay, I know I played it for a while, and then I stopped, and then I tried playing it again. So probably about a year. And I mean, I'm sure once I played it a bit more, I could get into it and like remember the controls, but I really struggled and like I was having troubles playing it.
I think maybe it's just that I loved it so much. I was so immersed in that game for the week that it came out. I think it's just ingrained in me like riding a bike.
Maybe.
I did want to address.
It burned it into you.
Right. It is 2018. 2018 was an incredible year for gaming.
Oh, it really was.
But I wanted to bring up some of the complaints that the MJ and Miles sections are bad. I hear that they can be slow and they can be boring. I think I liked them more than most people did.
I agree. I really liked them.
And on top of that, I love the Grand Central Station MJ level. So much fun.
I love that part.
You don't have Spider-Man's powers. You feel vulnerable, but you're walking around finding these guys, and then you mark them for Spider-Man, and then he drops from the ceiling and grabs them and pulls them back up. And like,
cool.
It's not just fun because of Spider-Man. Like, I think the point of the MJ and Miles stuff is to remind you that like there are people who aren't like, strong as a spider and like, all but invulnerable. Like, there are real people and real stakes. Great DLCs too. Next up, I wanted to bring up basically the one that is often compared to Marvel Spider-Man is the Batman Arkham games. Have you played these, either of you?
Nope.
No.
So okay, so maybe we don't talk about them at length. I haven't played them at great length. I am a
Yeah.
huge I am a huge fan of well, we couldn't have this conversation without talking about Arkham. I'm a huge fan of Batman. I'm a huge fan of third-person action adventure games. I don't know why these games didn't click for me. Um,
Mm.
I played a little bit of all of them. Um, I I think the movement is solid and the combat is like fine. I think that Spider-Man took Arkham's combat and made it more interesting. Um, the combat is fine, the movement is fine, the world is fine. They're all good, but something about it never really, I don't know, it didn't get me. I don't love the Batman in that game, if that makes sense. I don't love
You
him.
know the Batman that I do love?
Please.
Telltale Batman.
That's our next one. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Transition.
again, like I said, I am not that into superhero. I'm more into like the lore. Like the games
For sure.
themselves are not really my thing. But fuck, I love playing Telltale Batman,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
believe this was towards the end of Telltale's first career iteration, whatever.
Yeah.
And I really wanted a second one. Oh my
They
god, I
made
wanted a
one.
second
What are you
one.
talking about?
They made us. What do you?
Batman Enemy Within. Are we finding this out live? They are two Batman games from Telltale.
I had no idea.
Are you kidding?
I think I probably stopped paying attention once I heard Telltale was like not a thing anymore.
Maybe you played them both thinking they were one game. Is that possible?
I doubt it. I doubt that.
Then Adria,
I doubt that seriously.
This is exciting.
To play this.
The second game is awesome. They're both
Yeah, my heart just went. It's beaten you guys.
I think we've established this. I am a huge Telltale fanboy. I am a Telltale apologist. Those games are flawed.
Yeah.
Those games have a lot of problems, but man, do I
They're
love them.
absolutely fantastic. 100 no flaws, 0.
They have many flaws, but they're fantastic and I love them.
Batman,
Nope, 0 flaws.
I think it's probably, for me, if we're talking Telltale franchises, it's probably like Walking Dead and then maybe Batman. Wolf Among Us might squeeze in there, but the Batman games are fantastic. Like you were saying, Adriana, what I love about these games is the lore and the world.
Yeah.
This game, I love when people do this. I love when they take sort of the basis of Batman and then they really run with it and do their own thing. So they do things like they make decisions like the Joker in this game. In this game, Harley came first. Harley existed, and then Joker based himself on her. Or
That's so funny.
Or they change stuff. I don't want to spoil too much, but they change some things about Bruce's parents. They give them a lot of character, and they make some decisions that other stuff hasn't made. Or like Oswald Cobblepot was Bruce's childhood friend, and like that's interesting.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah. I have not played this yet, but I really want to.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. We should. God, I wish World was normal and we could be streaming these things together because I would love to replay this game with all of you guys.
What's really fun, what I really like about these games in particular from Telltale is the crowd play functionality.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing I wish they would put these in all the Telltale games. They kind of stopped. But basically, you can vote on your phone. You can play with a group of people. Mm-hmm. And so there's one person with a controller, but like when you're making a decision, people get to vote on it. And you can like, cool. And so I played some of the Batman. I played it by myself, and then I had some friends I wanted to show it to. So the three of us played it together. And having their crowd play element makes it a lot more fun. I also really like the dimension of, like a lot of modern Batman, like he's just Batman. Like Bruce, nobody gives a shit. Like Bruce Wayne doesn't matter. Bruce Wayne is just like the reason he has money.
But he's Bruce Wayne in the.
There are some situations where you have to decide: do I go into this as Bruce or as Batman? And that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll also quick shout out. This Joker, John Doe, is one of my favorite Jokers of all time. One of, I think, top 5 for sure, maybe top 3.
It's good.
It's really good. Highly recommend to all of you out there, and it's pretty cheap too. It's probably, I don't think it would be more than like $25, and you could probably get it on sale. Next up, I wanted to bring up some of the most famous superhero video games, and that is Injustice and Injustice 2. Do you guys know much about these?
Nope.
No.
They're fighting games, but they have really good stories. There was a comic spin-off of this that was really, really good. But basically the premise is that at the beginning of the first game, or right before the first game rather, Joker decides he's had enough of fooling with Batman. He's going to fool with Superman. And so what he does is he basically he fools around. The Joker and Batman definitely fool around. But Joker goes to Superman, and he basically uses a fear toxin, whatever, to get him to kill a pregnant Lois Lane. Joker gets Superman to kill his pregnant wife. And so Superman, when he finally comes to, he kills Joker, and he's basically like, I've had it with this. And so he basically, over the course of 5 years, becomes this tyrannical despot. And so he basically establishes this world, which is basically what people have been worried about forever. Like, that's why people don't like Superman, because he's too powerful, and they're worried, like, yeah, he's chill now, but what if he wasn't? And this is that story. Basically, the whole Justice League sides with Superman except for Batman, and so it's like Batman and a bunch of like villains and C-listers against like all-powerful Justice League. And the game's great. It's made by the people who made Mortal Kombat, so it's got some similar feel. I've been playing a lot of Injustice 2 lately with a friend of mine. I'm a Starfire main. And it's just, the story of the game is really great. Like, it has great single-player offerings, but also a lot of depth for the multiplayer. It's like an awesome, one of the, I think, core pillars of the fighting game community.
Awesome.
I kind of monologued there, but it's really, really good.
Good.
Yeah.
So
that's okay. I mean, it's a good series. So many people love it.
It is. I think it's also one that's like kind of accessible. I wasn't really great at it when I started. I think it's another one that's like easy to learn, hard to master. The last one we wanted to talk about was the upcoming Avengers game. Caitlin, you know a bit about this.
Yeah, I was at the Comic-Con panel for this, which was really awesome. They showed us, like, I think the trailer, I'm sure, is out. Well, yeah, it's been a year. It has to be out now. But they showed us, like, the preview, like, the trailer that, like, was premiering there. It's really interesting. It seems like they're going to kill Captain America off very early on, which I don't know about. That'll be interesting. Which seems, it'll be definitely interesting because he's such a big part of the MCU, but we'll see how they do that with the, like, video game universe that seems like they're creating. I'm a big fan of the cast. I mean, Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, Nolan North, Troy Baker. There's some others that I can't think of off the top of my head, but those are like the four that like really sell it for me, and I was very happy to see at Comic-Con.
For sure. I have
a
Go for it.
Jinx. I agree, the acting cast fucking slaps. I mean, everyone who knows me knows I'm a diehard Laura Travis fan. But I'm actually a little concerned.
Do you like Critical Role, Adriana?
What's that? What's that? I don't know what that is. No, but I'm actually a little concerned because it seems like they're in every big game. And I'm not about monopolies, man. I like to see diversity. Yeah. I mean, I love them as people. I just don't necessarily like what the voiceover industry is doing.
They've got
those are different.
Yes. I agree with that. That's industry-wise, but I'm happy that, like, I enjoy those four and I like them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I enjoy them. But yes,
Troy Baker.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I would like to say, I was watching the E3. Oh, was it E3 2016?
You don't know years, Matan. It's okay.
It's hard. Time is an illusion. If you told me that today was October 1st, 2022, I'd probably believe you. But I watched the E3 in which this game was revealed, and it was a really hype E3. I think it was the reveal of Last of Us 2, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was No, it wasn't the reveal of The Last of Us 2, but it was the first trailer of The Last of Us.
You're right, and it was the reveal of Final Fantasy VII Remake. So this E3 was like riding high.
Yes, yeah, I remember.
And then they released this cinematic trailer, didn't show any gameplay, didn't really talk about the game, and it was hype, like everybody wants an Avengers game. It was like right before, I think, Infinity War or maybe Endgame. Everybody was riding the Avengers high. But then they went silent for like 2 years. And then they came back, and with this ugly ass game. Like,
and I think Comic-Con was when they showed that trailer, right?
I think you're right. The first actual gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's ugly. I saw your note here about like they couldn't use the actors' faces, so then they tried to like make other faces, but then it like just turned out not great.
Specifically, what I wrote was
yeah.
Sorry, Caitlin, finish your thought.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's just not great. And go ahead and say what you're gonna say because I was gonna go off on another rant.
Specifically, what I wrote was this game wanted to look like the MCU, but couldn't afford the likeness of any of the actors, so it ended up straddling the fence and hitting its balls on the way down.
Yeah, I was gonna say like with Spider-Man, it worked because they chose an older Spider-Man and they didn't have to like worry about him looking like Tom Holland or any of the others.
Right.
And they made him older and made him their own Spider-Man. And I think that super worked. And like he still wasn't my favorite design, but I enjoyed his design and I didn't think he looked bad. Yeah, he was unique.
The face looks unique and the suit looks really unique. I love the white.
Yes, I love the suits in that game.
Who is producing this game?
Square Enix.
They can afford it.
They can.
They can afford it. I mean, like, sorry, but
Robert Downey Jr.'s face is probably super expensive, but I.
Oh, I'm positive it is, but like they can afford it.
They have that JRPG money. So I don't. Yeah, basically, I think that they didn't make a big enough choice in terms of the representation of the characters, and that's really hurt them. I like the idea of it being co-op. I think that's cool. Co-op superhero. And they announced, this is one thing I do like, they're adding characters. I'm not sure if it's paid DLC, but they're adding Kamala Khan, who's Miss Marvel. And I really like her. I hope that their DLC gives them an opportunity to add some like B and C list heroes.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
I'm excited to see where they go in the future with like having the Spider-Man game and having this game, and then like they have more freedom than the MCU because they can use X-Men and all that stuff. Right. So be really interesting to see what they get in the future.
For sure, or Fantastic Four, yeah.
Man.
If I hear that it's unmissable, I'll check it out. But I'm pretty far out on this game. I think it's very low chance I'll get it.
Really? I think I'll get it.
Too.
I might wait a bit and not buy it when it first comes out, but I definitely want it.
All right. Well, I'll check it out at your place then.
Yeah.
We will mooch off Caitlin as usual.
Unless you guys wanted to add anything else, I think that just about does it for our superhero discussion.
Heck
yeah. I'm cheesy and sentimental, and I just wanted to add that you're all superheroes. Everyone listening, everyone watching, everyone talking right now, you're a superhero.
Even me, I'm a superhero?
Oh my gosh.
Not Caitlin. Caitlin's stupid. Not Caitlin.
Fine, I get it. I see how it is. I have a fun story real quick. This is like one of my favorite moments of my life ever. So I was walking in Six Flags. I was like maybe like 16 at the time. And all my stories have to do with Six Flags today, apparently. And I was wearing a Spider-Man shirt, like I always do because I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt right now too. And this girl comes up to me and she's like super excited. Yeah, and she's like, oh my gosh, sorry, I just had to stop you. And I'm like thinking, like, does she think I'm like some celebrity or something? Like, what's going on? And she's like, you are exactly how I imagine MJ would look in real life, and you're wearing a Spider-Man shirt, so you're like perfect. And I was like, oh my god, that is the sweetest thing anyone has ever said to me. Yeah. It was so nice.
That's really sweet. That's a great memory. That's so sweet.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite memories.
I realized I said I probably won't get this game. However, if they add Squirrel Girl as DLC, I will buy this game immediately.
I love Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl is one of my favorite Marvel heroes. So like stupid in the best way.
Yes.
All right, Marvel, you heard it first. If you want more people to buy it, you know what to add.
Yep. I'll drop a lot of money on Squirrel Girl.
Heck yeah. Also hire me for MJ, even though I love Zendaya.
Oh, I love her so much.
Zendaya is perfect.
Her MJ is great.
Her on Dancing with the Stars.
That's cheating. She's a dancer. She can't be on Dancing with the Stars. That's cheating.
True.
It's not cheating.
It's cheating.
Ballroom dancing is very different, dude. It's not cheating.
But she's been doing dance for so long. All right, you know what? We'll have a Zendaya podcast. We'll have that later.
Yeah.
Thank you for for listening and watching. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube with a video component. You can follow our socials; they're in the description, or you can check us out on Patreon. We would love the support. And I think that's it. We will catch you guys next week.
Love you. Bye.